Hi, I'm just, the video's a bit different to my other one, which was a bit shouty. Well, it wasn't really shouty, but it was a bit strong language. I mean, I do apologise for being reduced to strong language, but I think sometimes there's a call for it when you're dealing with absolute nutters. And I think what I'm going to share here, hopefully, will help to take people out of that horrible madness that we're living in, and to focus our mind on the important things in life and what makes life worth living and interesting. And one of those things is learning about our human history. And so, you know, for an example, we've got this video which is made by produced by Zeg TV, and I do advise you to watch some of their videos. They do fantastic videos, and I want to say a big thank you to them as well, because they do share some interesting information. Now, looking at this, you know, you'd think that this was the first work, that's the second, that's the third, but actually it's the other way round. And this is actually made by a later generation that just picked up because it, you know, or there was a huge earthquake in this whole area, and a lot of stuff was just, you know, completely destroyed by it, and there were lots of stones lying around, and the local people gathered them up, and this is what this is what they were doing under the conquistadors. You can see how slapdash and yeah, let's just get the wall built kind of attitude is going on there. Not because the people are lazy, but because the people who are employing them are lazy. They're lazy. I mean, just look at that, the precision cut, and they're so huge. Now they're saying that these are like a couple of thousand, maybe 3,000 years old. But they're probably a lot older. They're probably a lot older. Very probably. Could be 7,000, 10,000, 20,000, even 50,000 years old. Or even older than that. They could actually have been made in prehistory, prehistoric times. It may be that the prehistoric period continued quite a lot longer in South America than it did in the rest of the world. And I think this evidence of these stones very strongly suggests that they were prehistoric animals and people living together in South America. Now, looking at these, because all we've seen for years and years and years is just the skeletons. We didn't know what they actually looked like as creatures, but these pictures are depicting, you know, living dinosaurs, aren't they? Living prehistoric creatures. Look at that. Now, apparently, according to some people, these are fake. They're all been made. Because a farmer found them in a cave, and he reported them to authorities, and there was 11,000 of them. But according to archaeologists, they can't possibly be ancient, because there were no dinosaurs around when people were around. Dinosaurs died out, then people came, apparently. So these are fake. But I don't always, you know, I don't accept everything that comes out of the mouths of the suits, as I call them, because really, what do the suits know themselves? They've been told that, oh yeah, dinosaurs died out, then people came. Well, how do we know? And I do find it hard to believe that a farmer had time for, you know, like, to carve, what was it, 11,000 or 15,000 of these stones. I mean, let's even say it was 11,000. You know, what, he did all this, 11,000 stones. How did he find time to farm? I mean, what was he doing? When did he start doing them? Did he have a book with all the pictures of the dinosaurs to put on these stones? I mean, look how intricate they are. And how long would it take to do? What, a farmer just apparently, you know, spent all his time making these stones, 11,000 of them. And people were saying that he made them to sell to tourists. Well, I think if you were making stones like this to sell to tourists, you would actually be selling them, like, once you got your first batch of 100, wouldn't you? You'd start selling them to people. You wouldn't do 11,000. It just don't make sense. It doesn't make sense. So I'm inclined to think that these are genuine, okay? So if these are genuine, then suddenly we start getting some idea about how the people of that period managed to build such buildings and move such huge stones. Because when you think about it, and even when you look at these pictures, you know, you can see that in some cases there's people riding them, you know, or there's people using them to fight with. There's battles with them. They show dinosaurs eating people. Just so many things. I mean, he looks as though he's riding that one. It's some sort of battle. And it's like, well, yeah, of course it would be easy to train a dinosaur, wouldn't it? Because when you think about it, dinosaurs lay eggs. So really all you would have to do is get a dinosaur's egg and train it from when it's hatched. That's it. You're mummy or daddy, aren't you? And you could train it to do anything. You could train it to carry you. You could train it to carry huge rocks or drag them. Even operate certain rudimentary machinery that could cut through rock. I mean, who knows? Maybe they had acid to cut through the rocks. And to smooth them off. Maybe, who knows, perhaps certain dinosaurs' urine was heavily acidic and they were able to cut through rock with it. Or maybe dinosaur power allowed them to use certain technology, you know, certain ways to cut the stone. But certainly they would have been able to help them carry the stones, and especially to the places where they were, you know. A lot of these buildings are just so big and high up, using huge stones that have had to be carried up there. And you think, well, blooming heck, how did they get those stones, such heavy stones, into such high places? Well, perhaps if you've got dinosaurs dragging them, then you will be able to do it. Or lifting them, or who knows, you know. I mean, I know it sounds far-fetched, but I think that it's good, it's healthy to look at history, it's healthy to ask questions, it's healthy to be interested in these kind of things, and to try and solve the puzzles of the past, and look beyond the suits, okay? Just remember, I'm not saying the suits are always wrong, but the suits certainly are not always right. And just because they've said these are a fake and that the farmer made them himself, 11,000. It seems unlikely to me, but that's what you know, people actually believe. So I mean, look at this one. It's sat on a prehistoric creature. He's riding it. He's got an axe. He looks like he's going out to war or to do something. But he's got quite a sharp axe there. So, is it possible anyway? I think it would be possible to train a dinosaur. And I know I'm calling them dinosaurs, but you know, prehistoric creatures. It would be possible to train them and to utilise their strength and whatever else properties that they had, like we utilise snake venom today and all kinds of things from creatures. And like, when you think about it, have a lot of dinosaur bones been found in South America? So let's have a look. Oh, list of South American dinosaurs. Here we go. There you go. These are all the dinosaurs that have been found in South America. Dinosaur bones. Prehistoric creatures. There we go. There you go. That's the list. And among the exciting events in recent dinosaur paleontology has been the discovery of significant numbers of dinosaur fossils in South America, many of which are markedly different from their cousins to the north. One of the scientists closely involved with these important discoveries, Fernando E. Novas, presents an up-to-date and comprehensive overview of the dinosaurs in South America. Novas reviews the dinosaur record in the region from Patagonia to Peru, discussing the anatomy, systematics and evolution of these dinosaurs within both paleographic and paleoecological contexts. He describes all the important finds in chapter-length studies in the Triassic, Jurassic and Cretaceous periods. Because the Cretaceous record is so rich, Novas devotes separate chapters to sauropods, theropods and ornithischians, and puts together the evolutionary story of the period in a final summary chapter, generously illustrated in colour. You know, I mean, well, imagine a creature like that, what you could do if you got a dinosaur egg and trained that from it being tiny. What could you utilise that creature for? So I think it is an explanation. I know people like to believe aliens visited us and they made these buildings. It's possible, and like I say, I'm just sharing this theory, which could be, I'm not saying I'm right, I don't care if I'm wrong about it. And that's the thing, I think we've got to all stop being afraid of being wrong and ask the questions and show the evidence. And if it's proved to be wrong, well, that's alright. You've discussed something, now we understand something more clearly, you see, because somebody's put something forward and then we've actually looked at it, and alright, we might come to a different decision because the evidence actually disproves what that person was saying, and we've got more evidence now because we've looked at it, so we know the truth of that matter, the facts of that matter. And there's nothing wrong with, you know, being wrong about a theory. You can put a theory across, and that's what we need to lose, all this egotism, you see, because that's what's connected to it, isn't it? It's like, oh, I'm wrong, and then the ego's wounded. It's like, look, An ego can't really be wounded. It isn't really real, is it, the ego? It's just like a fantasy one has about oneself. If you know, thinking that you're more important than other people and stuff like this. But I think people who aren't egotistical, they don't mind asking questions, and they're not afraid. They're not afraid to put thoughts, to express their thoughts, and they're not afraid to be told, oh no, that's wrong actually, because I've discovered this now. Well, no, to me, that's a delight. It is a delight. Oh, wow. Oh, right. Because I just would like to understand. It isn't about anything for me as an individual to say, oh, aren't I wonderful, to put these things together. It's about just accepting that. You know, not about praise, because all the praise has to go to the universal love that created us. It has to. It really has to. And whatever we can do is because the universe created us. How we choose to operate, that's up to us. The universe has provided us with universal law to help us to live in harmony, peace and balance on earth, and enjoy an abundance of love and happiness. But if we're not going to live by universal law, going to live by higgledy-piggledy Babylon psychopath rule, then you know, this is all going to fall down very quickly, and that'll still be standing. This world and all its buildings could not outlast this. That's the truth of it. And like I say, if they did have dinosaurs in that same period, if this is a lot older than, as we've been told, a very lot older, and it may be that, you know, the dinosaurs that they've been finding aren't actually of, you know, that old. Do you know what I mean? That maybe they were around a lot longer, and maybe that's part of the reason why they became extinct, because their eggs were being taken. I don't know. It's one of those mysteries, isn't it, that, you know, when it comes to building, we seem to lose. A catastrophe happens, and then we just lose all that knowledge. Or maybe we lose the creatures that gave us the power to move these huge stones, and also even to cut them to shape like butter, really. And like I say, I think it's very important to expand the mind, to think about these things, to go back into the past, to use your mind in exactly the same way that, you know, TV throws pictures at you. Think, you know, we need to start exploring the universe within. We need to expand our minds, expand our thoughts, expand into new areas. That there's so much crap in this world that I do address the crap. You know, I'm not saying distract yourself with this. What I'm saying is that this truth is just as important as the truth that's going on in the everyday crazy Babylon world. But at the same time, there's a history, wealth of history here that we need to learn from. We need to learn from it. Understanding our past helps us to live better in the present and build a better future. Now, if it was prehistoric creatures that helped them to make these buildings. You know, that just again exemplifies of what the natural world, the animal kingdom, has given to humanity. I mean, where would we have been without horses or sheep? You know, we do owe a debt to the life of this planet. The life of this planet has given us so much. And like I say, perhaps it was the dinosaur power that gave us these. Dinosaur power. And what power have we got now? And yet this is what we build with. We're literally building with sand and rubble. Mostly sand. Okay. And it is disturbing. It's disturbing because they make it so credible. They make themselves real with their buildings. That's what makes a power real, are their buildings. Because they dominate us, they tower over us. They are an authority of wealth, an authority of power. And yet they're so banal, those authorities and powers. They're very self-serving. They aren't interested. They aren't interested in how and why. They're not interested in history. They're just interested in money and how much more power they can get. And they've got, a lot of them got big egos, or they're yes men who's got into politics because some CIA agent knows they're a paedophile or a rapist or something. You know, these are the kind of people that have been getting into power and authority. Sadistic types of people, psychopaths particularly favoured, you know. Don't let emotions get in the way, them psychopaths. It's only us humans that are meant to have emotions, isn't it? You know, because that's what makes us inferior. Actually, our own humanity makes us inferior to these psychopaths that are governing us. And I just hope that all the good people that are in the top tiers of society, and I know that they're there, the good people, but I hope that they reconnect with their inner child and that they start asking questions, and that they join us people, they come down from their high places and join us people who are just righteous. And you know, we don't live in this corporate world with all its corporate statutes and, you know, you can do this, you can do that. No, but we can get away with anything, but anything you do, it's going to be taken very seriously and you're going to end up being prosecuted. But, you know, we'll just do whatever we like because we're a corporation, and so we can get away with whatever we like, and we can dominate everybody and manipulate them, and it's a regression. I think we have regressed. Technology's progressed, we have regressed. We've been spending all our time producing this new technology and using the new technology, but to what purpose, to what ends? What are we achieving with it if we're not developing as human beings, if we're not learning more? Because there's a lot of rubbish on the internet, there's a lot of rubbish on YouTube, but there's also a lot of very, very interesting stuff. There's a lady that does some videos, I think she's called New Earth, and she does some brilliant videos. I love listening to her. I call them suits, she calls them penguins. And she's absolutely spot on with so much, you know. It is quite amazing, you know, when you look at this. This is real. Some of the pictures that aren't actually, you know, what we found, but it's absolutely incredible. And I really would, because I am thinking acid and perhaps very strong ropes, sawing through. I don't know. But I think that we need to ask questions about these, and we need not to stop letting these people who call themselves professionals just start dictating to us about how things were done, you know. So yeah, I think it's time to wake up, lighten up as well, in terms of, no, get with the facts. That's lighting up. Light yourself up. Put some oil in your lamp, okay? And what's oil for our mind is facts and evidence, and assimilating all of those, analysing them, checking out the validity of them, coming to a theory. Somebody else might have another theory. People have got different theories. You can say, oh well, I agree with that theory. Which theory makes sense? Which theory has got evidence to support it? Those are the things. You know, a theory always must have some evidence to support it. But sometimes that might only be circumstantial evidence, because, you know, if you're talking about ancient history, sometimes you just can't access the facts, but there's certain bits of evidence that tells you things. So, alright, just looking at this, that is older than this and this, then, you know, yeah, you could think, oh, they must have been at ancient technology to do, you know, this was done with technology. Maybe it was technology powered by dinosaurs, you know. It's very, very, very interesting anyway. So, as I say, really, I just wanted to introduce you to, you know, something else other than all this horrible political and xenophobic absolute nonsense that's going on in the world right now. This far right extremism, the horrific illegal bombing of the Middle East, that actually, you know, now I just feel numb. I feel numb, and that always is a sign that I've just gone past upset. I've gone past upset. I've gone past the rage. I'm just numb. But I am aware that what's happened in those countries has devastated. It's devastated me as a British citizen that my government has participated in such horrors, and in promoting, you know, training and using, well, actually recruiting radical Muslims, preaching, sending people from MI5, working for MI5 to preach radical Islam and get recruits to go to Pakistan. It's just absolutely despicable. It's despicable. And I think, looking back at history, I feel there's more reality there. I feel there's more reality in this ancient ruin now. Though, is it really ruined? It's broken. But I feel that this is the wall, isn't it? It is a wall of time. Time after time. And that wall of time is telling us something. And we need to learn. It's telling us a lot of things. And we need to understand it. We need to appreciate it. accept that, you know, while we were building Stonehenge, perhaps thousands of years before, the people in South America had built this with the help of dinosaurs. And that power obviously gave them a power that they expressed in stone and buildings, much like the powers of today. Nothing really has changed, except there's no precision now, is there? It's all very random, apparently random, but it isn't, is it? Because there's a purpose to build a wall and to make it straight edged and fill in all the gaps. So I think it's the only way we're going to grow up, when we start asking questions, and that is when we connect to our inner child. Like Jesus said, be like a little child.